Hello everyone, my name is SeaTactics for the win, otherwise known as Ben, and I'm here today to talk about Run with the Wind, or Kaze ga Tsuyoku Fuiteiru. Fuiteiru? I don't know. So this was up for a vote a couple weeks ago in one of my community tab polls, which you have to subscribe and ring the bell to be able to see on my channel page, or get the notifications for, rather. You know, this is one of the anime I've been hearing a lot about. I didn't win the poll, but I decided to cover it anyways because it's what you guys wanted, so I guess here it is. Here is my video talking about Run with the Wind. Now, I'm not going to talk much about the story here. I'm not going to give you a basic introduction. You can go to my anime list and search it up. A really basic top-down view of this story would be the main character is pretty much saved by this guy named Haiji, who's like a runner, and they join the running club, and like they all live in a very old apartment together, and it's really weird, and there's a lot of comedy and hijinks and sports and naked boys. And it's from Production IG. It's airing this season, of course. It's based off a novel, so let's get right into it. First of all, this anime has fantastic animation. Production IG does really great with these kinds of animes, I find. There's this anime I reviewed a while back, I can't remember the name of, but it was a slice of life as well. I actually think it was a shoujo anime, and it was very well put together visually. And of course, you have a couple seasons ago with Legend of Galactic Heroes, the new thesis. Production IG really just knows how to nail their kind of art style. I love how modern and sleek and grounded Production IG's art style always is. A lot of people complain about that. They say their art style is rather generic. There is nothing that makes them stand out. I have always vehemently disagreed with that, because not everything has to be this, bright pink colors and, greens and oranges and stuff like that, and blues. This anime has realistic colors. It's colored beautifully, and it's incredible how good this art style is. I mean, this art style is really exceptional. And while it doesn't technically stand out to those people that like those kinds of things, it's unfortunate because the art style is just really superb. That being said, though, a lot of designs do get lost in the shuffle, I will admit that, and I think that's just because there's so many people in this anime. There's a whole team of runners, and they all have a similar build. They're all tall and lanky. They all mostly have short hair, and I think the one that looks like the most unique is our main character, and he still gets lost in the shuffle. Everyone else pretty much just blends in with one another, and that's one of the downfalls of this art style. It's not a huge thing, mind you, but it's one of the only problems I find with the art style, and it's one that really annoyed me, because sometimes all the characters look very similar to one another, especially when they're running, when they have their hair back. I can't tell who these characters are sometimes. It's very hard to figure out. And that brings me to one of my first major points, is that initially, during the first 3 or so episodes, I didn't exactly care for these characters. Not that I hated these characters, because I think this anime does a great job of developing these characters, but it never tells me why I should like them. I understand a lot of things about these characters. They all have really good backstories. They all have pretty unique writing for one another, but I never felt like I should care about them. Like, I'm seeing it and I'm like, oh man, that's, he's got a tough life, but I'm never like, oh, that makes me much more vested in this character. There's something about them. It's something flat about these characters that never really caught on with me until the 4th episode with the introduction of the redhead guy. And the series, for the first 3 episodes, is rather stale to me, rather fine. It's not bad, but it's not really good either. It's just average. And until episode 4, I was like, what are we getting at here? And once episode 4 rolled around, I was like, all right, I'm completely invested in these characters, because this one character that is introduced kind of throws things into chaos, throws things into turmoil, and makes these characters seem way more interesting, because now they have conflict. And now, since they have conflict, I can relate to them. And I think maybe that's what was missing initially, is since there was no conflict and it was just the characters, I was trying to find a reason to get behind them. Until I was given a reason to get behind them, I was left wondering what's going on here. And also, for a 26 episode anime, I mean, we have much more time for these characters to develop. And yes, it is 26 episodes, which I may end up watching the whole thing if it's as good as it is now, because it's pretty enjoyable. But I think a cool thing about this anime is the comedy is pretty solid. It's funny and enjoyable. I thought the nudity was a little too much in the first episode, but past the nudity, which I understand why they did that. You know, it's a cast with a bunch of boys. It's the same reason they peddle, you know, harem anime to us. We like boobs and stuff like that. And it's just, you know, chicks like good-looking dudes, and that's fine. But I did feel, like how I criticize, you know, all of these anime for showing off too much of the ladies, it just felt a little bit too much. It felt excessive. It took me out of the show. I didn't really find it terribly funny. It just felt shoehorned in, and you could have done it in more tasteful ways than what they did it in, and it just didn't get me. Another little small thing while I'm at it is it's really hard to know some of these character names because, you know, initially in the first 3 episodes, you don't really have much to get connected to these characters and you don't really know their names. But other than that, I am proud to say this anime is actually very exceptional. It doesn't really do anything perfectly. It does most everything pretty well. It does have a little bit of a rough start, but once you get past that rough start, it's in most aspects very enjoyable. The comedy is good, the art is tremendous, so good. Love production IG, and so is their animation. Yeah, there are some things that aren't as good, but I would give this a full recommendation to you guys. If you guys like sports anime, like, get out there and watch it. It's pretty good, and honestly, I'm gonna continue watching it myself because I'm interested in these characters now. After the 4th episode, I'm interested in how these characters are going to deal with this antagonist, this new antagonist in the series, and of course to see the amazing animation of the characters running and stuff like that, and how it builds up the drama of the series. And that's another thing it really does pretty well, is after the first 3 episodes, the drama of this series is pretty fun, pretty enjoyable. It's not anything new, it's not anything different from what we've seen before in these kinds of animes, but it's solid, it's enjoyable. I don't think this anime has to do anything that is revolutionary to be a recommendation from me. This is perfectly good. It's got issues, but the issues aren't awful per se. But if you like sports anime, check it out. Get out there, watch it if you wanna. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you agree with my opinions on Run with the Wind, put down the comments below. If you don't, put down the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video or you got something from it, anything, give it a like. You know I appreciate it. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't already to get my community tab posts. And of course, follow me on twitch.tv. Everything you need to know is down in the description below. Join the Discord. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all the support you give me, you know I do. And I will see you later. Bye-bye.